Hi, Vancouver Opera. My name is Luka Kawabata, and I'm here chatting with Maggie Hasspacher, who is our principal bassist in the Vancouver Opera Orchestra. And we're here just chatting, getting to know each other, and giving a perspective on what goes on behind the stage and in the orchestra pit as well. So, to start, I just wanted to ask you, Maggie, what brought you to Vancouver, or did you grow up here?
I grew up in the Detroit area in the States, and
Mhm.
I came here because my husband is in the VSO. So he won a job here 8 or 9 years ago. And after we got married and I had my first kid, I moved in September 2019.
Cool. Do you find that Vancouver is significantly different than Detroit or like the Detroit area?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's very different
Yeah, yeah.
in good, very good ways. And also, place that I miss. So,
Yeah. Oh yeah. I feel like you always have that connection with home. And as
yeah.
someone who grew up here, my big thing is the ocean. And I always say that like if I were to move away from the ocean, that would be like it would feel like a big void in my day to day. What's your favorite area of Vancouver?
I love, gosh, well, we live in Kitsilano right now, and my favorite area is Kits Beach during the winter.
Why the winter?
Well, because I didn't grow up with tide pools. I did grow up near water, but my favorite thing is to turn over rocks and sea crabs and
Oh, I love that.
worms and starfish. And I have 3 kids, and they're all young, and they're just so excited to hold the crab. It's
Oh,
really fun.
yeah. Well, that's even taking my niece and nephew. They live in northern Alberta, but to take them to the beach and be like, wow, it's all the entertainment in the world here that they can
Yes.
just yeah. So I'm sure it makes your life a lot easier too. Just say, go
Yeah.
learn, explore.
Oh, it's just the best.
Do you have a favorite beach? Is it Kits?
Yeah, I guess so. We also haven't explored an extraordinary amount because we just have a lot going on. But the Spanish Banks has a really nice little area that we kind of enjoy. It's where a creek. That sounds so Midwest. Full, flows out and flows down where the salmon kind of run, and I think it's salmon. Look at me. I don't know. I'm sorry. And so it's very peaceful and kind of a beautiful spot that we like to go to there.
Oh, that's lovely. Do you have any suggestions for like day trips or stuff outside of the city? It sounds like you're pretty outdoorsy and like to explore.
Um, we do like to explore, but we pretty much I can recommend trips with children.
Yeah.
I love going up to uh White Cliff. Is it White Cliff Park?
Yeah, yeah. On the North Shore there?
By Horseshoe Bay.
Yes. Yeah. I love that too.
That
It's a lovely
that
beach.
one is a great mixture of little bits of trail
Hmm.
and a playground, which is of course a big draw for my children, and then a beach
Hmm.
that has a peaceful spot with the most beautiful driftwood and cliffs that we have not yet conquered, but we like to look at.
I love that. I think the last time I was at White Cliff, there was a seal that was like really curious about seeing people. And
Oh,
you can always see the people that are like, oh, like let's go and try to get as close to the seal or take a picture of the seal. And I'm always the one that's there being like, no, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it.
you
But
can
it's so
be.
cute. Yeah. I always like to ask, I'm a big foodie. I'm not sure if you are too, but maybe you have good suggestions for some favorite spots that you have around your area or beyond that people can explore in Vancouver.
Uh, that's a good question. I definitely like a good fish and chips. That's a Vancouver special.
Yeah.
And so I live near Granville Island, and one of our favorite places is just to go to Tony's Fish and Chips, which is a good standard spot.
Yeah.
Get
Yeah.
the clam chowder, the coleslaw,
Oh,
do
I
it up.
can smell it. Right? So, as someone who's not from here, do you have any advice for a visitor to Vancouver or someone who's recently moved here?
Good question. I think that maybe a visitor should take the most advantage of all the wonderful public transportation in the city. I'm sure they would anyways, but coming from Detroit, it was something that I didn't do at first because I'm so used to driving in a car. And I just really enjoy being like looking up and taking the bus because you see different parts of the city that way, and you kind of a section of people, and you're looking around in a different way. It's really fun to explore the city also on your bike. And yeah, I recommend that anybody kind of explore how Vancouver is special in that way as opposed to southern cities.
I love that.
More southern.
Yeah. Well, I was because some like a lot of people do drive in Vancouver, but a lot of people, especially if you're pretty central, don't feel the need to get a car. And I've never owned a vehicle, even though I've got my driver's license as soon as I could. But it's that the public transportation, if you need it, if you're staying pretty central, is like just as good, and like you get that experience as well. So I appreciate that a lot. Let's talk a little bit about music. I want to know, first of all, how long have you been playing the bass for?
Oh my gosh. I'm maybe 29 years.
Wow. Oh,
Started when, yeah, I'll reveal my age. I
your
started when I was,
hands must just feel like it's just part of it.
my hands are two different, my fingers are two different lengths.
Wow.
My left hand, my fingers are longer than my right hand because of all of the reach and the span of reach. It's just been it's like how in yoga they say you can change your body. Well, you can.
Ah. Do you have to do any exercises to like, or like, are there different needs for your different hands in order to just like um, keep them liberated, keep them like able to do their jobs?
Yes, all the time, and it feels so good to do them. It's like, uh, did you see my body sigh and release? That's
Yeah.
how much I want to play my bass right now because I've been so busy. I had a new baby a month ago, 5 weeks ago, so I did a concert, and it was crazy. Just 2 weeks after she was born, 2.5 weeks, and then after that, it was because it was so stressful. I've taken a break, but it's so hard to demand that space and time if you have small children to practice. And just thinking about my technical exercises makes me relax.
Yeah. Is
The
that,
best. I'll get back to it. Don't worry about it.
yeah, would you say that that's what the role outside of like professional like criteria that music really serves in your life is like relaxation?
Exactly.
Mhm.
And I'm sure voice, it's every instrument. They have things that you just are accustomed to, that you have done so many times, that you've hopefully like found, that make your body more comfortable on the instrument, and
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
feels good to do.
This is always an interesting question that I ask people, but if you weren't playing your instrument, what instrument would you play? Or what is one of your favorite instruments?
That's hard. I can't. It's so hard because I played, growing up. I think a lot of people play a lot of different instruments, trying them out and everything like that. And yeah, I have to say that the bass is just that's the best one for me. But if I also actually do some singing, and I really do love doing that. So I guess the voice would be my second.
I love that.
No offense.
Yeah. um,
That is second.
do you know what? I'll take that as a complete compliment. The voice is like, it's something that, because it's part of you, it feels very personal, obviously. And yeah, so there's a lot of layers to how that goes as well. Um, what do you think is one of the most challenging parts of being a musician?
Ooh, good question. You mean why do, for example, two musicians who are married and have 3 kids are already not wanting their children to be musicians?
Yeah, it's a complicated question.
That would be the example I would come from. That would be just, it's a very up and down profession. You experience so many highs and lows. I guess you do with every other profession, but feels like the succession that is closer together. You're doing great. It's awesome. Oh my gosh, there's so many opportunities. Oh, there's nothing coming up. I can't get myself to practice. Oh my gosh, I have this audition deadline, and oh my gosh, it's two days away. My project, you know. So it's just like any other sort of art thing where you're kind of like, I bet, you know, I used to think that was yeah, that's the hardest part, I think, for me to kind of handle and just kind of feel a forward motion and not, you know, always a normal forward motion that doesn't exist. But so do you feel those ups and downs?
Totally, absolutely. My usual sentiment is that I love being in the room 100% of the time, or let's say 98% of the time. But scheduling is always tricky, and having to multitask or like keep like multiple plates like spinning in this in what are they called? Like, you know what I'm talking about, the acrobatic trick in the air. That's always something that people don't see, right? And you're kind of being a musician or being a magician musician, and making all of this just kind of happen. And there's so much that the audiences don't see. What part of a performance would you say that the audience just doesn't have eyes on, whether it's during the performance or before or after a performance?
The multitude of logistics involved with being into that shape for that performance. So much work.
Yeah.
And you want to give it your best. Sometimes the repertoire isn't that challenging, but it doesn't matter. In order to project, as you well know, same thing on the bass, it's a very physical task. Your body needs to be in shape, and it can't just be, you know, stepping into the first rehearsal about to play 4,000 notes on Wagner.
Exactly. How do you prepare for a production?
That's a good question. I mean, I'm sure you have your whole
kind of system, kind of
kind of thing. I have my daily warm up, as I said before, and technical exercises that I do that get me in shape. But I also, you know, the bass is a very heavy and bulky and physical instrument, and also there's a lot of tension on the strings. So every instrument you have this risk of injury, such as, you know, in the voice too. It's so easy. There's so many ways you can injure yourself. And so actually my routine involves core exercises all the time and push-ups and everything to get myself to be able to schlep the instrument to the QET, to the rehearsal space, in the car, be able to sit there and, you know, just draw the bow across the string, 50 pounds of tension on each string, press your fingers down, you know. It's a lot to be able to execute, especially for a long length of time. And I've studied I'm sure maybe you studied other kinds of mind body things, but I studied Alexander technique, and Alexander technique has been so key in helping me prepare for these productions and make it through the productions and all sorts of
Yeah.
yoga, all sorts of other things.
Yeah, I think Alexander's technique is so helpful and informative to like I wouldn't say just even musicians, just like everybody with just connecting with their body.
Yes.
Yeah, that's, do you have any fun performance memories that you can share with us?
Oh yeah, of course. Bass players always have fun.
I can see that.
Don't tell anybody that though. We're at the back and definitely, I think that one of my favorite things to do is we like to bring cookies. And we share cookies, and then we also like to hang out and chat always. Well, everybody chats, but bass players like to hang.
Yeah.
And so we had a bass workshop last year, and some of the people came that was outside of the performing thing, and it was just the best. The Vancouver Bass Workshop, that's something I started just for fun last year. And but during performances, all sorts of silly things.
You have
the fake. Just it's good. It's fun.
That's awesome. What is your favorite way to celebrate after a performance?
Good question. Oh, I haven't done that in so long because of small children.
Fair.
What's your favorite way?
What's my favorite way? Depends, because is it opening night or is it the last performance of the run?
Let's say opening night.
Opening night, if we have a few days afterwards, I do love the whole kind of, the whole feeling of like dressing up and then afterwards getting to chat with people about being like, okay, we've done it. Now we've done it once. Now we know that we can do it multiple times, even though you've done it so many times throughout the rehearsal as well. There's a little bit less pressure to feel like it hasn't started yet. But
the chat best. I like the decompressing. Last year, I would give one of my bass friends or one of the people in the section a ride home often, and we always just went over this and went over that. It's so nice to be able to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And if you could collaborate with any musician in history, who would that be?
Oh gosh, that's hard. There's so many good ones. I guess you caught me at a moment where I'm on a Mozart jag.
Mozart.
I watched Amadeus while I was doing laundry for the last 3 days. So, I took an entire class just on the magic flute in my undergrad. So I'm really excited to perform the upcoming performance.
Yeah.
And so much so that it's gonna be a stretch for me, but it's only 2 months after the baby has been born, so I'm kind of there's a lot of things to think about and do. But I think that Mozart was just a weirdo and a total character, and I can't get over how many beautiful things he wrote, and it's just insane. I mean, such an effortless musician, and I love performing and also taking his music and making it my own when I can. I've done various that Twinkle Twinkle variations that he wrote for piano. I've done with bass and voice myself for little children concerts, and just so many things that are so simple and so achingly gorgeous that he's written.
Oh, I love that. Well, you had an amazing segue into the fact that you are performing in this season, which starts with Magic Flute in the fall. Do you have any other projects that you have on the go?
Oh yeah. Yes. Always. I try to do it always. I'm taking a little bit of time off of some other performing work. I've been kind of go on the classical side of things since I came to Vancouver, hustling, if you
Yeah.
will. And now I'm excited to come back to my more singer-songwriter and creative things that I've been doing. So I premiered a piece in the summer and I'm making an animation and I'm to the recording that I made. I recorded it also. So the animation hopefully will come out, and it is like I'm such a luddite, so of course it's taking forever because I'm taking 2,000 pictures and putting them into Final Cut Pro myself because I have no idea how to do it.
Well, I think that's smart. Document everything, and then you have like such amazing records for the process and like the development of the project as well.
Well, it's kind of just yeah, that's how I'm animating is.
Yeah.
Never mind. Anyway, so then I have recording coming up of a children's album that I kind of have been on the back burner that I've been
Mhm.
thinking of. I've written some tunes for, and I just have also hopefully with my other symphony that I play with is in Kamloops. Um, Next year, premiering a piece that was written for me for bass and voice also, with a solo concert in their art gallery space. So
Oh, that
that's
sounds
a couple of things. I don't know. We'll
yeah.
see.
That sounds awesome. We'll have to look out for all those things. It was amazing chatting with you. Thank you so much for taking the time, and it's so great to connect one-on-one as well as share a bit of your story with our Vancouver Opera audience as well.
Thank
Um,
you, Luke, for chatting with me.
Thanks so much. And I'm sure that we'll see each other soon. Until then, I hope that you have an amazing rest of your summer.
You too. I'll see you for Magic Flute.